Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to
Welcome back to Del Mar, California at the Surf Sports Park here. We are joining you live for a pre-quarter matchup in the mixed division between Minneapolis Dragon Thrust and Boston Slow White. I'm Erin Maraca here with Tony Leonardo. We're really excited to welcome you back for day 2 of competition. Tony, a lot of exciting games happened yesterday. Can you help viewers at home understand kind of how we got here?
Well, welcome to the mixed division. The 2015 champ and #1 seed here at this tournament, Minneapolis Dragon Thrust, has had a great season. They go down 1 game in pool play, lose to BFG from Seattle, puts them into pre-quarters. Slow White has to battle in a 4-5 spot against Wildcard to win, and that knocks out Wildcard, keeps Slow White alive as their pool kind of got upended, puts them also in pre-quarters. A little bit of a surprise for both teams who look to be a little bit evenly matched here. So the loser of this game is going to be pretty disappointed. The winner will advance on.
These two teams have met before this season. I think they're 1-1. That's correct?
Yeah, through the regular season, and we talked to the coach of Dragon Thrust, the last regular season loss. Now, through the season, Dragon Thrust has gone undefeated since Colorado Cup, which is the opening tournament. And that loss to Slow White.
Two perennial contenders here in Boston Slow White and Dragon Thrust. Dragon in the black jerseys this morning, Slow White in the white jerseys. It does look like Slow White will be pulling to start. A quick look at how other things have kind of shaken out so far this weekend. As Tony mentioned, a number of the top seeds not performing to their expectations yesterday. Some conditions, certainly a factor. There was a second round wind game.
Yeah, that second round wind game is the best way to put it. The Santa Ana winds came streaming across, kind of cross winds both ways that switched up. That kind of messed up a little bit of everyone, and whoever escaped from that pool play game there ended up being usually at the top of their pool. So shame the 9 seed out of Fort Collins takes their pool over the 2 Boston teams. Dragon Thrust goes down. AMP goes down as well in the game we had here on the stream to Snake Country. So a lot of topsy-turvy action here. That's just kind of the way it goes sometimes at the mixed division here at Nationals.
Well, we will be underway shortly here on the showcase field. As a general reminder, of course, this USA Ultimate Nationals coverage is brought to you by VC. We encourage you to visit their website at vcultimate.com for the best in jersey design and gear. That's Holly Denacor to her husband Caleb, and he immediately fires deep. And that is a clean and pretty offensive hold to Becca Ludford right out the gate.
Wow, that's a great way to establish the Ludford deep game. It's not that Slow isn't aware of that at all. Ski maker there on the defense, but a perfect throw from Denacor.
Caleb Denacor, of course, second year on the team for Dragon Thrust. Holly Denacor joining him for her first year. I know that they wanted to play together, transplants from, I think, Emmy's area in Texas. Yeah. Welcoming them to Minnesota, certainly their first winter was a shock. But good to see Holly playing. I don't think she played during US Open. So this is a good addition. Holly, of course, a veteran in her own right with a lot of experience across divisions and a lot of coaching experience, the both of them. I believe they coached a women's college team together in Texas as well.
As now we're looking at the Slow White line there. That was Coach Marshall Goff talking to his team. And there's number 52. That is Alex Trahey. He's going to be the man with the break throws that Dragon Thrust will try to stop, but has sort of admitted that they may or may not be able to stop Trahey's arounds and breaks, but they want to stop the second and third break. So they want to limit the range of Slow's motion down the field.
This is Jacob Lean with a pull for Dragon. As we get used to where the jerseys are on these Slow White and Dragon jerseys, bear with us a little bit here. That's number 63, Tess Johnson, and she will immediately look for a huck of her own, and that is caught by her brother Tanner. Another clean huck hold in this mixed game.
Tanner and Schoenrock, that is a great matchup. Hope to see that all day. I was wondering who was going to be able to stay foot for foot race with Tanner Johnson, the young star at UMass. Strings is the man for that. Tanner gets this one. Look forward to that matchup all day.
You know, Dragon is a team where there is kind of a, I don't want to call them option A and B because in a lot of ways they are just as talented and just as dangerous. So Strings took the Tanner Johnson matchup that time, but according to Coach John Gross of Dragon Thrust, we might see Brian Vinoka Bevon as well on that matchup, just depending on kind of who has it right now and who can do a better job shutting him down. So a lot of exciting air battles, I think, are in our future for those folks downfield. But so far, you know, I think we have a statistician, Melissa, who we really appreciate. But that's what, 5 passes maybe total in this game so far, and already 2 points scored.
Well, the teams, again, as you had mentioned, intimately familiar with each other, long-standing teams. Slow White has been to nationals every year since 2005, I believe, or maybe even 2004. Dragon Thrust, I believe, has won 3 national championships. Their last win in 2015, and Slow won in 2016. So the familiarity between these teams and the expert level of play they have in the mixed division is on par with some of the best we have in this sport.
Centering back to Holly Denicourt, out to Caleb Denicourt again to Ludford, a pattern we will become familiar with. That's Tavis Layton. The other thing I find interesting about this O-line for Dragon is the number of left-handed humans that rotate in here. Caleb, Tavis, Kat Ritzman, all left-handed. Kind of entertaining ratio there. Denicourt in power finding James Huron. Back to Denicourt. Layton. Layton probably best known on Dragon this year for finding a huck game, specifically after Colorado Cup. I think he was given the green light. Here's Ludford. Unfortunate error there. And that's a D by Breton Tan.
Yeah, we were told to look for that from Marshall Goff. Brett Tan makes the easy, quick D like that. Really gets under his man.
Doherty and Shaw working in the backfield for Slow.
Doherty, the veteran.
That attempted layout D from Leo Sovel Fernandez. We'll be seeing a lot of him as well today. Here's Stoddard looking for a reset.
A lot of slippage again. The slippage in this area, Aaron, all day yesterday, and teams new to this field are going to find it happening to them now.
During the stoppage, the disc will stay with Eric Shaw. I saw some questions on Twitter last night about this showcase field. It is not muddy. It is not wet at all. The grass is very short, and it's almost like everyone's cleats are maybe too deep. That hammer look out to Piper Curtis. Shaw with the first overhead pass of the game. Around to Ryan Cardinal. Field marshaling a little bit, but it looks like a pick call in that center vert sack.
When are we coming in?
Break opportunity for Slow White here early.
Okay, all right, we're ready, coming in 2. In on 2!
Slow White and Dragon Thrust, of course, as Tony mentioned, very familiar with each other.
Wow.
That break pass is good to Eric Shaw, despite a bidding Layton.
I don't think so, Aaron. I think it's out of bounds.
Oh, you do? Oh, so hard to tell on that far sideline. This early morning sun, I can see neither the blue line or the white line that's over there.
Yeah, and there's a further line behind it even that we
well, and
can't
Logan
see.
Weiss is holding the pylon. Hard to tell. Well, Dragon back on O. Ludford looking for Layton. Layton wanted to hit Nando, they call Leo Sovel Fernandez out there. But Huron will huck instead to Denicourt.
Nice piece.
well defended there. I think that was Sean Doherty.
Yeah, Tubbs they call him, the other defender downfield. So already two of the primary male defenders on this team, Brett Tan and Sean Tubbs Doherty, making plays for Slow White.
These are these break throws that we're expecting from the Slow White offense. Both teams, I think, interested in moving the disc the full width of the field. So those should be interesting defensive sets to watch for. Another pick call or, nope, foul, I believe. As we discussed yesterday, I'm just going to keep bringing it up because it's a good reminder. Next year, we will all need to know the symbols, the hand signals. And the women's division did a really great job yesterday of already knowing them, and it was really helpful for
an offensive foul.
Oh, an offensive foul has been called. Interesting to be able to hear
it's +1 to the last one you said.
It was really easy to follow along from up here on the scaffolding when we could visually see the cues.
Okay, coming in 6.
So practice at home, maybe, and get prepared for next year when that is mandatory. They're going to find Shaw up line in power, but he is defended. Nevertheless, a flick huck tails out of bounds intended for number 53, Breton Tan. Breton Tan, one of these defenders that Coach Marshall Goff said is really good at getting kind of the sneaky D. He found that many teams just kind of threw to Tan. He showed up in spaces they weren't expecting and kind of just suddenly, you know, we called him a bit of a wizard, just apparated into the space with a disc in his hands. A lot of family connections on this Slow White team as well. Right, Tony?
Well, as we watch this throw go up here, this is a bit of a 50-50 ball. We'll find the turf. Yeah, Brett Tan, of course, the player known for playing with Toronto Goat, but decided that this summer he wanted to do something a little bit different and kind of travel a little bit. So he's also going to play in Vancouver. We'll watch this huck go up.
Just a huck fest here right now. Becca Ludford able to get a hand on it. You know, we've seen James Huron fire twice deep on that high sideline. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. As soon as these teams kind of beta test the current wind and the current footing and all of those things, I think we'll see some of this clean out for both teams. Holly Dennecourt will call a timeout for Dragon.
I feel, Aaron, this is kind of funny, but we talked to Goff and we talked to Gross, two of the coaches for these teams, and Marshall Goff said, you know, I feel like with Dragon Thrust, they're just a team where if Plan A isn't working and Plan B isn't working, then Plan C is going to be, in fact, and they're just as good. And Gross basically said kind of the same thing about Slow White. He's like, well, if they gum up this or they gum up that, they're still going to be pretty good at doing this and doing that. And I think we just saw it on this point where both teams are already into something they don't necessarily want to do, which are these 50-50 hucks, right? Those two in a row there. So they're kind of trying to find where the success may come against this very talented, evenly matched opponent.
Yeah, you know, it also seems like this game is already shaping up to be one of inches, as we noticed earlier on that attempted break that we thought was inbounds, but was in fact out of bounds. Already just a really close game that looks like it'll be determined kind of by whoever can do the small things well, and one of those things, obviously, in pressure is towing the line, and that's very difficult. So here is another opportunity for Dragon to hold on this point. As a reminder, if you'd like to interact with Tony or myself on Twitter, we are available. We have our phones as we stand under this lovely umbrella.
Ooh, that was
so
close.
if you have questions or you want to interact with us about maybe a pending trivia question, happy to take those calls. Here we have Emily Regan, one of the captains of Dragon Thrust, who caught kind of a low to the ground pass from Leoso Val-Fernandez, and it was kind of contested whether it was up or down, but that resolved. Leighton to Caleb Dennecourt.
Bit of a hell point here.
Slow White women bracketing a little bit, but Regan able to shake loose.
Nice fake from Regan.
Woo. A little bit of a turf traction problem for Holly Denecor on that reset, but the bailout to Layton is successful. Holly to Caleb. A lot of little switches in lanes from Slow White so far, causing a little bit of second guessing from the Dragon resets, but Becca Ludford is open, and Emily Regan is open, and Tavis Layton bids for that eventual hold for Dragon.
Yeah, they earned that. Amy Stoddard on the D there for Reagan, but Reagan makes the play. Layton with the layout. Pretty good point all around on the defensive side. And it was really just a matter of stamina with the offense. Timeout helped to kind of like settle them down for Dragon Thrust, and they hold here for a 2-1 lead.
A connection there. Emily Regan and Tavis Layton both attended Minneapolis South High School, not together. But you know, a lot of players on this Minnesota Dragon Thrust team, a product of that Minnesota youth scene. I'm sure we'll talk plenty about many of the other players on this team. Sarah Mexroth played for, I think, both Eden Prairie and then ended up coaching at Mounds View High School. Erica Bacon went to Hopkins High School. Nando Leosabel Fernandez went to Great River School, which is the same high school that Harper Garvey, and Sam O'Brien is the principal at that school. Sam O'Brien,
Yes, Sam.
You know, probably future Hall of Famer, but you know, a lot of cool kind of paths through. On this line alone, Blake Trantina also went to Eden Prairie. Austin Lean went to Orono. It's a lot of high school talent from the Minnesota Ultimate scene. Really good representation of that kind of feeder program out there in the Twin Cities.
Nice.
Erica Bacon will pull. This will tail out and be centered. Number 52, Alex Trahey, will center the disc for Slow White, known for his break throws. Out to number 63, that's Tess Johnson.
Tess, one of the U24 players, the one Golden Heidelberg, along with Ari Nelson on this team, and Renata Pepe. And Tanner, I believe. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, a bobbled look there. Trantina gets a hand in the way on the pass to Trahey, and Austin Lean will pick up. That's to Schoenrock. Strings. A number of stoppages so far. Most of them appear to be pit calls. Hopefully both teams take that as an indicator to clean their stacks up. Erica Bacon with a nice break throw out to Erin McCann. McCann, another Worlds player for I think both U20 and U24. I know I'll get a text message that corrects me momentarily. Here's Blake Trantina out to space, a bit too far even for Strings.
And it looks like Trahey gets the turn back by forcing, sort of preventing, I should say, the around from Trentino. After Trentino got a piece of the disc intended for him earlier. And Trahey will pick it up. Vertical side stack.
Well, so if you want to keep track at home, that was a blown break chance by Dragon. So hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt them in the later parts of the game. But Slow White here with another chance to clean up their stack.
And they do have multiple stacks. Coach Goff told us that, you know, a side stack, a vertical stack as this huck goes up with spacing, but the D. Oh,
Caitlin Fitzgerald over the top of Erica Bacon within striking distance here. Looking for a reset, but Blake Trantina able to find that lane.
Missed opportunity for Slow White. See if Dragon makes him pay.
You know, if you want to calm down a D-line offense, it's a great idea to get the disc to either Erica Bacon or Austin Lean, both of which have run O-line for Dragon in past years. Kind of incredible ability of Dragon to put some of these players on D-line. Nice attempt there, but a miscue between Bacon and Lean, and a huck goes off. Number 51, Tanner Johnson, unable to keep footing, but maybe ungettable anyway.
You know, it's so tempting when you get this open receiver, you get the turn, you have no mark on you, and you're just like, all I have to do is lay this up here. But you know what you actually need to do is take a breath and then lay it up. And we've all been there and made that mistake, and that's what we just saw there from the thrower.
Maxroth basically double covered in the backfield, a little bit of a brackety situation going on, and unfortunate issue there, but well defended by Slow White as they swing around to Ari Nelson, to Mataka. Shoot, I didn't write the phonetic spelling down.
That was Renata Pepe, by the way, with the D, the speedster and the YCC player and another U24 champion.
A lot of talent on both of these squads.
Pepe coming out of the Hudson Valley area, went to a small school there. Kind of, Aaron, you've mentioned some of the small school D3 players, and here's a hammer, perfectly set. That's a goal for Slow White.
That's a hold to Eli Motika. I'm not going to say that. Mataka. Okay. Sometimes we learn these pronunciations and they don't land, they don't stick. My apologies.
Movie, Madagascar? I think there's probably like a rhyme we could do with Mataka.
That was that Trantina poach D in space. A lot of back and forth on the last 2 points, certainly. I think a little bit of an expression of how evenly matched these two teams are. I think Boston, the first team to try to make a defensive adjustment. We saw them bracketing some of the women in the backfield. Certainly hard to bracket Claire Thalen and Sarah Maxroth in the backfield. As John Gross put it before the game, pick your poison, right? If you want to take Sarah Maxroth out of the play, then Claire Thalen has got to be open, and, you know, a great player, and also like nearly as maybe dangerous as Sarah Maxroth, certainly similar speed, similar jumping capability. So, you know, hard to choose.
I don't want to tangle with either of them.
Oh, funny. We will see here the Slow White D line.
Maxroth at US, I was working for Pro Champs last year, and Maxroth just crushing it in New York on the field. It was like she just made every play. It was scary.
She was the player of the year last year in the mixed division. A great honor, certainly, but well earned. We were very proud of her in the Minnesota contingent. Hope I'm not overly expressing
Are you from Minnesota?
I'm from Minnesota. Hopefully I'm not expressing all of my bias, but I do care about a number of these human beings. But I'll try to be professional.
I think it's great that you're calling a game with some of your friends. I think that's how it is about the sport.
Here's Kat Ritzman. She'll put it out for Emily Regan. Well placed, but well defended as well. That ski maker with the D.
Yeah, she got beat on that last time and wasn't going to let that happen again. So she gets a little closer to her defender this time and has the range and the height to get up there and knock it away at the last minute. Ski maker with the D.
You know, I know Marshall Goff has been with the Slow White team for a long time, but I was interested to hear that Slow White was kind of founded not with long-term planning in mind. Is that true?
I don't think many mixed teams are. Watch this huck go up with a defender in the area, a poacher, and the poacher will get it. So the huck's not coming that direction for Slow White.
That's Logan Weiss out to Captain Brett Sullivan. Looking for a reset. We'll have to go around Denacor out to Layton. Bidding Emily Regan.
Nice pickup. Defense from Ivan Tran there was excellent.
Looks to me like Slow White has kind of picked up intensity on those handler reset Ds.
There's nothing easy going on for either team right now.
There isn't, but there might be something interesting going on with Emmy at another field. Emmy, do you have an update for us in the rest of the mixed division?
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Tony. I'm over at AMP versus Space Heater, happening right behind me. AMP has actually gone up 2 breaks in this first half. They do lead 5-4, but just with how everything turns out. Michael Ing having a great day so far on the D-line. Both turns that happen from miscues on the Space Heater offense, Michael Ing catches it in power position, and one of them, you could hear Raha go, "Go, Michael, go," just rips it for big hucks in the end zone. The other field, it's all tied up between Space Heater and Snake Country. They are trading points back and forth, very, very tight. We will keep you updated on everything that's going on in these pre-quarter matches in the mixed division. Looks like you all have an exciting one back where you are too.
Thanks, Emmy. Appreciate the update. A lot of really fun ultimate going on today as teams battle to stay in the championship bracket. That was a break by Slow White right there to take the lead 3-2. Dragons' offensive line started on a very clean, efficient hold, but ever since having a little bit of trouble. Have you noticed any factors that might be contributing to that, Tony?
Well, first of all, excellent break there. Ryan Turner to Ivan Tran. Tran, the excellent handler D. The only factor I can definitively say is that Slow White is playing excellent across the board on defense, and that was one of those points where it was sort of a combination, I'd say, of pressure kind of across the board, right, where pressure kind of earns breaking points down low, and also just singular attention to detail on your person.
Here we will see the Dragon O-line a little shuffled. We see Brian Vinoka coming over, Erica Bacon coming over, and Austin Ling coming over. Usually D-line players, at least this season. Of course, as we mentioned, all 3 of those players have been on the Dragon O-line in other years. So a little bit of an opportunity here for Dragon to mix with the personnel and try to get something a little bit cleaner and give some other folks a break.
Sometimes they say that a game doesn't really start until the first break.
That's fair. Claire Thalen also over. Bacon upset with herself about that turf aimed at Bevan, Brian Vinoka. And Slow White within about 25 yards, back with the disc. Here's Cardinal looking for that IO, but a stoppage.
Stoddard has it, but we'll send it back.
Both of these teams running similar offensive sets. Interesting foils for each other. I think both of them are also focused on their handler defense, so it's an interesting pairing for sure. That throw behind, that's number 53, sorry, that's Tan. Some of this stylistic numbering on the Slow White jersey is a little bit hard to read. That looks
it's
like
Halloween style.
It's Halloween font, okay. We'll see how that goes. A wide swing here out to Hatchet. A left-handed human, and he will put up a blade, and that's Claire Thalen showing her defensive prowess with the save.
Yeah, unfortunate for Walker there. His brother Jack Hatchett plays for Pony, of course, and a long time Boston stalwart, one of the elite defenders in the nation. Walker as well, pretty good, but that is a decision he'll want to have back.
I believe Claire Thalen attended Carleton and played for Syzygy for a number of years. Hadn't been in Minnesota for a while and moved back, I think, last year. Oh, a good poach D. That's what we were talking about with Tan, a wizard, a sneaky defensive master.
He's really, really good. He's so quick with his feet. He has been for a long time an elite defender in both the mixed and the men's division, and you see why. And it's a great addition for him to have. He joined his cousins here. Another attempt here. And
similar
Walker's
throw.
Going to want this to come back again. He can't throw those away passes. That's a mistake. You want to go to the short cone on a short field.
Denacor able to pick that D up on that similar kind of left-handed blade look. Only a little bit of wind coming over my right shoulder right now. I don't think it's enough to impact any of these teams, but we'll have to see. Ludford forced to punt at a high stall, but Thalen is there, and she finds a cross-field look to Brian Vinoka, and that, though it may not seem like it, is a hold.
You know, it's just punishment for Slow White not being able to beat Chile on D. You know, 2 of those hatchet throws, and he should have taken back the first one, and then he went back to the well. And unfortunate for Slow White, and they get punished with this deep huck from Thalen. Sorry, was it to Thalen?
The bailout huck was to Thalen.
Yeah.
And then Thalen found Brian. Sorry, I've never called him Brian in my life. I will never do that again. Sorry. That was Bebon. And now we are, yesterday we had a number of close games on the stream, and it's really fun to have a competitive game, and we're right back in it. Obviously, pre-quarters is kind of a do or die situation for many of these teams who had high expectations for themselves. Neither of these teams really had the day that they were expecting yesterday, but it's all about mindset. I know we talked to both coaches kind of about the headspace, Tony. Might be interesting to hear about the attitude and the morale of both teams coming into today.
Well, talking with Coach Goff, they wanted to stay loose, and have fun. They didn't feel like they were disappointed in their play, and they just, they got rolled by Shame, and they said, you know what, we just didn't play well in that game. They're in the game there with Super Lame, and then Super Lame kind of took it at the end. And then they rebounded nicely and had a great game against Wildcard, knocked out Wildcard, the number 4 seed, and their Boston neighbors to get here in this game. So they were feeling good at the end of the day.
That Wildcard game was a rematch of the regional final?
That's correct. And probably a rematch of about 20 other games that those teams have played over the years. But Wildcard won the region. But it's a lot of evenly matched Boston teams this year. The talent is deep in Boston, but spread a little thin, and this is going to be a tough one. Schoenrock gets that D.
Strings doing strings things. And here he will bookend on a throw from Sam Berglund. And that is the break back for Dragon. Strings greeted by his teammates in the end zone. A little bit of energy for this team.
Don't want to get Strings fired up. Once he gets on a roll, he's a pretty good player out there, and he's going to do a lot of damage.
I would totally agree with that. Going back to some of the games that happened yesterday, John Gross mentioned that Dragon also didn't feel like they played to their potential, but in particular in that BFG game that they dropped, they also dropped 9 passes, which is kind of uncharacteristic for this Dragon team in general. And, the game was 15-10, I believe, and a couple of those drops going the other way certainly seems like it could have been the game. I think both these teams spent some time reflecting last night and doing a little bit of reevaluation, but are trying really hard today to focus on themselves and what they can control and kind of playing their game and getting back in touch with what makes it fun to play mixed and what makes it fun to play with their friends. So get ready, because this will be a patented Vinoka flick pull.
Okay.
And it's ridiculous.
I'm looking forward to it.
A number of really good pull artists on this Dragon team. Here we go. There it is. It makes no sense.
It looks like Justin Allen pull.
Yeah. Between Neil Henke and Sam Berglund and Vinoka. Oh, Trantina almost able to get another D in the lane there. Also, we see pulls from Bacon quite frequently, and Austin Lean as well. Always fun to watch how those work out. Looks like a foul call will be coming back.
Yeah, Trantina all over the place.
And I won!
Basically almost got 3 Ds on that point. In the last one, the disc was still in the hands of the slow right thrower, so it came back.
Here's this wide lateral work.
Mataka,
thank you. Back through to David Friedman. Mataka.
Carleton graduate.
Out to
Whoa.
Tanner Johnson's put a bit too far, but possession retained. Interesting. So this is this other matchup, Vinoka versus Tanner Johnson. Nice break throw here from Ari Nelson. And Caitlin Fitzgerald's layout, I think, will stand, but there was a pick call away from the play.
Nice athleticism on display from Fitzgerald. We know that's a story with her. She's got the skills in that regard. Excellent player.
She played on the All-Star Tour?
That's right, on Sheena Titcomb's All-Star Tour.
Amazing effort there. I loved watching all those games.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and there is a layout. Poach block by Erica Bacon in the lane. Pat Niles will pick up for the Dragon D-line. Hammer to Vinoka. Vinoka would like to throw a flick huck, but he will throw a hammer instead. Here's Max Roth. Max Roth, of course, a household name in our community. And she will ask for it, but Pat Niles throws May.
Wow. I think she got that.
She is very self-aware. She told the line. Is she in? No, the observer has called her out.
And then he laid that little chip down where the disc went out. Nice try there from Mexstroth, but it's a turn and a chance for Slow to hold. Wow.
Unfortunate. You know, in ultimate, the line itself is out, and all of those moments are quite close together. So Slow White here will take a timeout. Again, this is an offensive point for Slow, so similar to what we saw from Dragon earlier in the game where they had to take a timeout to kind of refocus. Looks like Slow will also take that opportunity, but we'll be able to get a look back at that play one more time and see if we can see
foot on the
what
line.
The observer saw. It's the white line. The white line is ours. The blue line you should ignore.
That's Alan Baggish, the observer, that made the call here, and I think he made the right call. The toes were on the white. A valiant attempt from Mexstroth. I mean, wow.
She's 5'8" and and has very long arms and was at a full extension, like a millimeter on that line. Well, or good effort there. I'm sure Pat Niles would like that throwback, but a good opportunity here for the Slow White offense to clean up, figure out what they want to do next.
I feel like they kind of have to here. Like, they missed the opportunity for what would be an easy second break in a row a couple points earlier, and then in response, they gave up a hold and then got broken, and these things go in runs, and if they give this one up, that'll be a 3-goal run for Dragon Thrust. So they got to win this quarter, or at least tie, if you're looking at games in terms of like a quarter break. Aaron, as a coach, how often do you teach teams to win like smaller portions of games?
A lot.
Okay.
It's a really good tool. Oh, here we'll see Vinoka, but
Tanner Johnson comes down with it.
Amazing. So yesterday we started a riot on the internet about times when you maybe shouldn't catch your Ds. And maybe we'll see in the replay whether we think Bevon could have caught that or not. It could be possible that he just couldn't get a hand around it. But this is a good effort here by Tanner Johnson to follow the play and make sure that it's not over until the disc is on the ground. A good effort there and a lot of energy for this team coming into that. Again, that was a clean, well, not a clean, but a hold nonetheless.
I mean, Tanner Johnson, we've seen him rip stuff out of the sky last year playing with Dig, playing with UMass. He's been touted as a star for a while, and well so. I've seen him score numerous goals over the course of his career up in Boston, and he has the ups and the ability. Thought he might be a Player of the Year candidate, but it's been a little quiet for him, but he makes the play, as we'll see this package of the play go, the whole point go through. Mexstroth on the toe here. Here's the huck into double coverage. So he's trying to find his spot there. That's it. No, he just went to try to tip it. And just Tanner Johnson just made an unbelievable play, going up with his right hand and then following the bid with his left. Great body awareness from Tanner Johnson.
We are all tied up here on the showcase field in this mixed division pre-quarter. Happy to have you all tuning in and participating in games today.
Just showing to Aaron, we have so we're going to look at the break chances here now. We're getting some stats. So right now, Slow White is 1 out of 4 on break opportunities, and Dragon Thrust 1 out of 3. So neither team really able to convert so far in the early goings here.
Here's Ludford, a breakout player of pro champs. She kind of went off in both a deep game and just getting open at will under. Talked about this a little bit before, but Dragon has a lot of threats that kind of mirror each other, and a lot of the players on these teams who have had prominent positions on other teams, Ludford, of course, playing for Brute Squad before this, kind of happy to play a role and take a turn. So Ludford happy to have a breakout game on the live stream at Pro Champs, but also, happy to let someone else take a turn. Max Roth and Claire Thalen often trading matchups and opportunities as well. It sounds like there's a lot of really good cooperation on this team. That scuba by Leo Sobel Fernandez.
I don't know what Sam O'Brien would say about that.
Maybe a little bit ambitious.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, a couple break side throws were given up by Slow White there, but then it was just a gift from Sobel Fernandez, the youngster on the team. Oh, did he toe the line here? That's an in. Nope. Out, in.
In. Oh, a lot of pressure coming from Holly Denicourt into that lane, and she'll go pick up for Dragon. Layton looking for Caleb Denicourt. Ludford is so fast. And on that 7 cut, that looked a little bit cleaner, that last little stretch, but still both teams not quite firing on all cylinders yet.
Well, again, we just look at the break opportunities and chances, and another one down the tubes for Slow White. They are now 1 out of 5 on break opportunities, not particularly great. So that's something I think for Coach Goff. Like, do you start, mixing the lines? Is it a different talent that you need out there, or is it a different kind of set? It's hard to say. There's 2 really good teams. It's like pretty evenly matched both sides of the disc. So it's like the defense from this Dragon Thrust O-line is very solid and not easy to crack.
Agree. I'm curious because we haven't seen Orion Cable on the field yet, maybe for Slow White. Obviously, someone we paid a lot of attention to during the U.S. Open, during some of those YCC games. Was expecting to maybe see him on some of the D points in particular. So any number of things can happen over nationals. I know we've talked to a couple other players who are making kind of game time decisions about whether they're healthy enough to be out there. But nevertheless, something curious to watch for as we continue through this game.
You got Mummy, number 69, Orion Cable on the sidelines, along with his YCC coach, Marcel Oliart. And I think when he does get on the field, because he's going to have to see the field at some point, he could make a splash.
Nice break throw there out to Mataka, around through Ari Nelson and Trahey. Trahey, obviously kind of the general of this offense, but Ari Nelson and Tess Johnson doing a lot of the initiating work for this Slow team.
Nice fake to the give and go, and then back through the middle. Well played by Slow White to get the defenders off.
There's Tanner to Tess Johnson. Out and around, wide out to Caitlin Fitzgerald. Had to look both at the line to see if she could toe it and at her own hand, unable to come down with that.
Yeah, she was almost too wide open.
Sometimes those wide open throws are the hardest ones. Austin Lean will go over the top to Marty Adams, who spent a lot of the season. Ooh, okay, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie broke her collarbone at Masters Nationals. That was, I think, her first layout.
She went for it all the way,
too.
She didn't hold anything back.
That's, whew. All right, she's safe. We're good.
Yeah.
All right, Slow White back with possession. Ari Nelson out to Trahey. Trahey to Taka.
3.5.
Dragon uses a numbering system to indicate where the mark should slide to.
Okay.
And I don't want to give away too much, I guess, of their strategy, but basically.
Is it on a 1 to 5 scale, I would guess?
Yeah, I think it's a 1 to 5 scale.
0 to 5, maybe even. Yeah.
And that's how they kind of communicate. It's easier, and it gives you kind of more control if you're the assigned sideline speaker to that mark. This good flow. And that back cone, Tanner Johnson will rein that in.
From Mataka. Mataka doing damage, yeah. Mataka again, another U24 player, Team USA, Carleton grad. So he's got a little bit of everything, and also a veteran. So that's why we're seeing him a lot with the disc. And another failed opportunity for a break, this time for Dragon Thrust. as the teams are very poorly doing on the break opportunities. Both teams now at 1 out of 5 on their break opportunities.
I'm sure that both coaches have a clipboard that also has that information ready to tell their team at halftime. You know, we talked about this game maybe coming down to a matter of inches, as we've seen kind of over and over again already. But, you know, opportunities that you can't get back are unfortunate at nationals. I think both teams understood that struggles during pool play were kind of, you know, if you want to struggle at all at nationals, you may as well do it in pool play, because there aren't as many, you know, elimination ramifications. But now we are in it, and if these two teams want to advance, they are going to have to take advantage of these opportunities and kind of clean it up, especially for their D-line offensive teams.
You know, the history of these teams, Aaron, you know, Dragon Thrust and their success, you know, 3 championships in a row, ending in 2015. Slow White, we talked about earlier, coming out of Boston University, the core of this team. And they were known for, Slow White was the first team that I could think of that would call timeouts and huddle at nationals and do, as this throw pops up and is Deed, another opportunity here for a break for Slow White, as Pat Barron will walk it up.
That's Olivia Hampton out to Tan.
Sorry.
Out to Cardinal. Another pick call. You know, the other way we could spin these failed break attempts would be maybe to give kudos to the offensive lines for getting it back. I know when we talked to some of the other teams yesterday, that was something that they were struggling with. I know in particular when we talked to Space Heater, they were talking about how, you know, the O-line needs to be able to hold, and sometimes that means that it's not perfect, right, and it's not a clean hold, but that means that everybody has to step up and play good enough defense to get the ball back so that they can convert those holds.
Turnovers are going to happen.
When you're ready.
You know, it's just part of the game, a little bit more so in mixed, I think, than perhaps in men's. That depends team to team, of course, and game to game, tournament to tournament, so not a tight analysis there. But they're going to happen, and so you've got to be prepared and ready for them on both sides.
It's Leanne Go over there, both the Go sisters on this Slow White team, and then Tan is their cousin. So a family team. That was, wow, that traction recovery was pretty athletic just there.
Nice around break.
Nice catch there by Go. This lateral movement from Slow White, very effective. And a lot of joy here on this break for Slow White.
Well deserved. They've had the opportunities, really only been able to convert that one. This is the second one, and it's a big one. Brett Tan and Go eating up yardage up there. The cousins making some damage.
A lot of these errors by Dragon already kind of self-inflicted. We've seen a number of turfs and a number of passes that are, you know, 3 to 5 inches too high. It'll be, I mean, all of these players are very talented players. They're very evenly matched. Sometimes that can make windows seem smaller and catches feel like there's more pressure. But, you know, still early in the morning here, first round of the day on a Friday. So hopefully both of these teams can kind of shake off some of these little issues and show us really high quality ultimate from this point forward. Looks like Coach John Gross doing another bit of a personnel swap here as we see Jacob Lean, who's usually the anchor of the D-line, come over to O.
Is it Mextroth out there as well?
Yep. So Dragon has 4 women on the field: Erica Bacon, Emily Regan, Claire Thalen, Sarah Mextroth. And then you've got a pretty stellar group of male throwers. Left-handed Caleb Denacor, Jacob Lean with a high release flick almost always. And then you've got Bevan, who will throw that flick Huck as well. So this looks like maybe Huck to women plan to me.
Okay.
But Bacon obviously going to be central
here goes
to the
Mextroth.
movement.
Right as you called it, she streaks deep, but they don't find her yet.
Regan with the disc. Looks like Slow White is forcing backhand.
It's a nice use of the gender choice here.
Yeah, you know, mixed is a really interesting division, and we talk a lot about the ratio and how.
Ooh, nice put. Ooh.
Oh, nice rip there from Regan, maybe a little too hot. It's tempting to throw hucks at Bevan because his grabosphere, his radius, is so huge, but maybe a little bit more touch, and that's converted easily. Slow White will have another opportunity here to increase their lead if they can cleanly hold on this D-line.
Oh, an open woman deep, and he's going to find her.
That's Collis.
Tracking it down, but won't get there.
Collis resets to Pat Barron, around to Schechter. And they will score that break. Piper Curtis reins in a throw. Is that the other go sister?
No, I think that's Collis, Caroline Collis.
I'm sorry, I can't see the numbers on the
It's
back
either 60
right
or 61, whatever it was amazing.
Collis was over here on the other side. So many players on the Slow White team have numbers that are in the 60s. We'll maybe catch it on the replay. Here's Regan's huck.
You're right, it might have been go.
To
Yeah,
Bevan, just out of his reach. I did not catch the number on that either. I'm so sorry.
I think that's Caitlin go.
Okay.
So that's 2 breaks in a row now. This is a timeout, I believe, for Dragon Thrust, as they're going to have to regroup and refocus. As you know, they've cleaned up their D-line offense. Has Slow White, right? They're not giving the disc back. That's 2 clean breaks in a row now for this team. So maybe, you know, I want to say Dragon Thrust maybe got a little too comfortable thinking that maybe, again, Slow was going to give them the disc back, and it was just great downhill offense run on that point there from Slow.
Yeah, really the story of the game or the number of these turnovers, I think, just kind of dredging up and murkying some of this quality of ultimate. I did want to get back to a little bit discussion of the mixed division in general. I think it's important for mixed teams to figure out how to utilize all of their personnel. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. Using the ratio is certainly one of them. And, you know, I have actually been surprised so far this game. That may have been the first 4-woman point that I've seen. I could be wrong, obviously. But I was expecting Dragon to go 4 women a lot more often this game. I know it was something that they didn't get to do a lot yesterday, and it's something that they take a lot of pride in. I also know that Slow White feels that way about trying to highlight their women players.
I think a lot of teams do. We know that Space here would like to do that. You know, my part of the world I come from, some of my partner and her teammate Becca Tucker, they'll roll with their power lineup, no problem. And I think part of where we get to is the question of the Toro game yesterday, where I was sort of expressed surprise that they had run a 4-woman upwind set, was because Toro told us that they tend to run dude ball and that they were trying to stop that. So I was a little surprised for them to pull it out right at that moment when we hadn't seen it all game on either side, really.
It did seem like, you know, as the kind of game point emerged, that may have been the first time that they went 4 women in the game. But, you know, there are other ways to highlight the women on your team. You can isolate them in the handler set like Dragon does with Erica Bacon and Holly Denacor running the offense. You can do like Toro did with Zimmy and put her in a position to take shots at the end zone. You know, you can put Jenny Fay and Georgia Boscher in the cutting set. Look at this nice throw.
Just rip one down to Ludford.
Caleb Denacor finds Becca Ludford on that side, and that's the other way that you can utilize your women is you can send them deep in athletic matchups, but you know, it's hard to look in at all these team cultures from the outside and necessarily understand how they've done the work internally to make sure that all their personnel feel like contributing members and highly valued. But you know, certainly a showcase here of, you know, female athletes who are doing a really great job, and teams that actually care about utilizing all the personnel on their roster. So that's good to see here in this highlight. And it looks like we will have another 4-lady point here as we see the indicator.
Yeah, and let's take check in with Emmy, see where she's at in some of the other pool play games. Sorry, elimination games.
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Tony. We're just coming out of a timeout here at the AMP versus Space Heater game. AMP took half, 8-5, and then scored a break to come out of half. So this last point, you can see them right behind me. It was very, very back and forth. AMP ended up taking a timeout, and I believe they are charging down the field, about to be in scoring position, hopefully for them, I guess, to go 10-5. I did speak with their head coach, Patrick Sherlock, at the half and said, how has your defensive strategy been working a little bit, so well today? And he said, we really feel like we're playing defense the way we did in the mischief game. And that's really the style that we would like to be, finding the right people, the places, contesting those spaces. In other games happening around the Snake Country team out of Boston they did take half, 8-6 against the Polar Bears. Coming out of half, Polar Bears scored first, so that game is tied, or not tied, but is 8-7. Columbus Cocktails is also up 8-7 over Super Lame. And then we do have a close game of Goat versus Sub-Zero happening one field over, and that is within one as well. We will keep you updated as we learn more.
Thanks, Emmy. Appreciate you being out there covering the division for us as we come in on a stoppage here.
And a blue card issue there to Berglund for crushing into Mataka. And that was a good card to be issued because that was a dangerous play there from Berglund.
Trahey back with the disc for Slow White. Tanner Johnson guarded by Schoenrock. A wide swing out to Mataka. Oh, a scuba.
Pick.
And a pick call.
Frontal like, yeah, that's me.
I really hope that the story of this game at the end is not pick calls and scoobers.
Hey, what's our count?
Well,
it's still on the table, which is alarming, but
it's a unique. I don't recall having that storyline be the defining factor. But
when you're ready.
We did have the triple call to end the game last few games ago. Whoa.
Nice catch there. That a break throw by Mataka to Tanner Johnson. And that is halftime taken by Slow White, the first of the two teams to kind of clean up their act, to be frank. What are you seeing out here? Any notes for the teams at home?
Well, it's just a little bit here and a little bit there. They definitely refocused a lot, I could say, with Slow White, right? Like they were in danger of losing that sort of quarter of the game, and they kind of got it back in time, just in time to prevent, like when they, so after they got in that break, and that was their second point in the row, did Dragon Thrust, I was saying that, they need to have this hold here. Sometimes a hold is the most critical thing at that time. And that kept the pacing alive for them, for Slow White, and then allowed them to get some breakout. And then the pressure switches back over to Dragon Thrust for them to hold. And they didn't. So, credit to Slow White for winning that first half, but left.
Some of the Dragon leadership kind of convening to talk about their second half strategy. Dragon, of course, a team that we've seen capable of coming back on pretty large runs. There's that game against Mixtape where they were down 5-0 and came back and put on a run of their own. So anything can happen. Pool play as the top seed in their pool. They're 3 suffering losses in pool play. But we will be back to tune into the Facebook stream, but looks like Tony is down on the field with the coach of Slow White, Marshall Goff. Tony.
You cool with the blue card there?
Take it away.
Hey, I'm with Marshall Golf, coach of Slow White. It seemed like you're failing in your break opportunities to start. He's just a really good player.
He's a good player, and a lot of what he's doing is finding the gaps for us. Some of that help out that he's doing as, call it an extra handler, but one of the handlers out there when he's finding those seams is really just knowing where we're leaving the spaces and trying to hit that at the right time.
And what can we look forward in the second half? Do you have some kind of, do you stay with the flow, or do you have to mix it up to make sure the Dragon Thrust doesn't kind of catch up to what you're doing successfully?
They're a team that can get really settled in and figure you out and make adjustments, and so we have to be ready for that. We have to do some adjustments for ourselves first, make sure that some of those break opportunities we left on the field are about us. Let's not let them poach into the lanes. Let's not let them squeeze the end zone. If we keep our spacing right, we'll have good opportunities.
And on defense, what do you think that they might try to do differently in the second half?
Well, I guess we'll have to watch what they do.
Let's do that. Thank you so much, Marshall. Good luck.
Thank you.
See you in the second half. Back up to you, Aaron. That was Marshall for Slow White.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate you clambering down the scaffolding and getting those details for us in the interview. For those of you at home, we are going to take a short break as these teams hydrate. But while you get another round of coffee, I'd like to thank Fulcrum Media for giving you a really cool package of highlights and the top 10 from yesterday's play of game. I'll see you on the back half of this halftime. Thanks a lot. I was in shape and ready to be the best player on Bird, and then I played 0 sanctioned tournaments for Bird. So yeah, it's a little piece of tissue that holds your lateral tendon in place. So if we did a sport that didn't require lateral motion, I would have been okay, huh? Right, then I would never, it would have been fine, but every time I tried to plant and go up line, the tendon would come out and roll over my ankle bones. Oh, thanks. Are you here with Ulti? Yeah. Are you mostly content creator? Thanks for joining us back here in the mixed division for this pre-quarter matchup, pitting the overall #1 seed Dragon Thrust against Slow White out of Boston. Slow White currently up at half. Tony, the story of this game so far, just a lot of missed chances, to be honest. For someone who maybe wasn't able to tune in for the first half, what kinds of things do they need to know about to understand where we're at right now?
You know, my takeaway is that these are two pretty evenly matched teams, and that's kind of what we saw it in the regular season. The last regular season loss for Dragon Thrust was to Slow White. Slow White lost 12-10 to Dragon Thrust at Pro Champs, and we're kind of seeing it here again. So, you know, they're just two pretty solid teams kind of going at it. You know, talking to Ultra World Report on the sideline here, Joe Ling suggested that Dragon Thrust was missing their opportunities to find an open mech Stroth in the end zone. I don't know if you saw that up here. I didn't see that she was open and that the chances were there.
I think that they just, maybe I would extrapolate a bit. They haven't established a deep game to their women.
Okay.
And I think, you know, apart from the first point of the game where Caleb Denacor found Becca Ludford on like a clean and easy huck, we just haven't seen the rest of them connecting. We've had a couple misses. I think James Huron has thrown 2 misses on the high side, and a couple other just miscues in the backfield. But yeah, I'd be looking for Dragon to maybe invest a little bit more in isolating any of the downfield women for Dragon in that space and trying to establish that game. But here we have Dragon, again, with a 4-lady ratio, and a good defensive effort here causes a miscue in the backfield, and Jacob Lean will pick up for Dragon. Through to Bacon, who will break to Caleb Denacor.
Nice break.
And she'll get it right back, and that's an immediate break for Dragon, stacking, well, that's a stacked line for maybe any other team in the division, but maybe just another Friday for Dragon Thrust. Good clean work there. Also saw Orion Cable on the field coming into half, so that was a new update since we hadn't seen him before, and it looks like he's headed back to the line for Slow White's O set here.
Yeah, I think he's spelling Tanner Johnson a little bit, though, although now it looks like Johnson also walking onto the field. So some weapons there and tall, lanky receivers for Slow White. But you're right, Dragon Thrust really came out with a pretty powerful line out there, got the turn and knew exactly what to do with that. Bacon makes them pay, and that's a break back to start the second half.
You know, I think Dragon really leans on Bacon in high pressure situations. She, of course, making an incredible layout to win that Pro Champ, I think.
US Open, right?
Or US Open. It happens so frequently that I get them mixed up, right?
Sure.
There are a number
Maybe
of...
she did it for both tournaments.
Maybe, it's possible. I feel like there are a number of situations where it is universe point for Dragon, and Bacon is either the, you know, general of the offense and has the disc in her hands, which is the safest place that it could possibly be, or is the isolated cutter off the front of the stack and making great plays. So, you know, more, God, she's got more in the tank. We're going to see a lot of Bacon in those situations that are must break. But a lot of the same personnel on this other D-line for Dragon coming out as Boston's O-line takes a second stab at this second half start.
Yeah, and kind of some Dragon Thrust likes to play bracketing person defense. And some effect there to slow him down. But Cable now with the disc, the youngster, played with the Buddha YCC team.
Tanner Johnson puts up a big throw to the Orion Cable, Brian Showick matchup, and Sky strings for the score. Welcome to the game, Orion Cable.
Well, we said it earlier, we were going to see him in the second half. There's no way you can keep him off the field, and that's why a 50-50 ball from Johnson against one of the elite defenders and in-air receivers in Brian Schoenrock, and Cable says, I'll take it, thank you very much.
He's 18.
He looks comfortable in his skin.
He does. You know, when we covered games of his at YCC, clearly a different role, right? right? On the YCC team, he often was in the handler set and then would kind of release deep if the flow was moving that direction.
Yeah.
But, you know, here in this instance, he and Tanner Johnson on the field at the same time, you know, causing a bit of an issue for Dragon. Strings is the right matchup, I think, with the height and the length, but Cable getting the better of him on the read and the jump there.
He kind of went into Schoenrock's body. Like, it's almost, you know, you're going to allow that contact, right? But if Schoenrock didn't get bumped by Cable, to be honest, I think Schoenrock would have got that. But Cable went up and into Schoenrock a little bit. Now, if they jumped sort of at the same time, then that's kind of legit. But if Schoenrock was up earlier, you could actually call that an offensive foul, looking at that replay.
We will see the first look at the Dragon O-line of this half. 9-7, Slow White still up 2. Layton will field the pull.
Nice pull from Walker Hatchett.
Out to Nando through Holly Denacor. Nice break out to Caleb Denacor. Another IO to Kat Ritzman, and she will find Logan Weiss. That's the cleanest O point we've seen from Dragon since maybe the first point of the game.
Yeah, it was clean, but Slow White was there. Caitlin Go was on her women in tight. Leanne Go also was in right position. Everyone in the right position, but the speed of the disc was too fast from Dragon thrusts, and they're able to move it up the field and into the. Everyone's kind of guarding well, just better played by Dragon.
A game of inches. Everything is tight. Nothing is free. And I think Dragon is starting to realize that, or maybe had a little bit of a heart-to-heart at half. But here we're going to try to see a similar D-line again. A lot of familiar faces. Bacon, Mexroth, Fallon, Vinoka, Niles, Schoenrock, Henke will try and get this break back, but it is 1 point game here in the second half of this elimination pre-quarter here in the mixed division.
Yeah, I like this decision. I mean, this is the #1 seed in the second half of an elimination pre-quarters game. Get your best personnel on the field. No reason not to have them out there as often as possible.
Yeah,
and on the slow side here, what does our lineup look like? I know Trahey again out there, Orion Cable.
Caitlin Fitzgerald, Tess Johnson, Ari Nelson, a really strong contingent there as well.
Lauren Bates, a little bit of a dance there.
You know, and the energy game is in play. It's day 2. You know, that's one of the other things that I was talking with John Gross about before the game. These teams see each other a lot. They see each other at all of these kind of away tournaments, and kind of John mentioned that he and Marshall Goff have become like friends, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
John
Frenemies?
Yeah, John delivered a slushie to Marshall Goff at Pro Champs between rounds, and it kind of, his mentality there was kind of like, I'm going to see him all the time anyway. Right. We may as well have a nice rapport and be friendly about it. I think similar to kind of how AMP views all of their matchups, right? That like these, I've heard John say this before as a coach, right? The one thing you need to play Ultimate is the other team. Otherwise, we're just playing ourselves. And, you know, thank you for coming. And the obstacles that are presented make us better. I think both teams kind of understand that, especially when these two teams are so evenly matched and run such similar things. It's kind of like looking in a mirror. It's a little bit of a recognition of where you're at. And the things that drive us individually are similar across the board. It's easy for these two teams to relate. And I think that they come together in kind of a common respect in that manner.
Consistent O-line here for Slow White. Mataka Johnson, Ari Nelson, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Trahey. Trahey trying to find space, cannot. Up to Mataka to Cable.
Cable within striking distance, around to Nelson, out to Trahey, who will immediately throw that backhand. Is that Collis? I think it might be Collis. Yes, yes, 61, Collis. That's an interesting, Trahey threw what looked like a break throw for the first point of the game, and that was a backhand, but that backhand looked wide open.
It's because they swung the disc so fast across the side of the field. So it got over to the foreside on the forehand there, and then they swinged it. They swang. I like swang. It feels like a kind of a twang to it. Back immediately, and then Trahey, with the ability to break, really finds the open Collis in the end zone. So Slow White really holding well here. You knew the pressure was going to be on them, on their offense, and their offense is up to the challenge so far here in the second half. And now the pressure back on Dragon Thrust. Down by 2, their offense has to hold here.
Dragons O-line out there again will need a clean hold. We're at the point in the game where efficiency begins to be important. On your graphic on your screen, we are counting down to the hard cap, but soft cap is going up when we hit 20. So that's coming up really soon, and then we'll add to the higher score and play to a new number if need be. So a little bit more urgency here for Dragon to get this break back if they want to be able to take a lead before the end of the game.
Yeah, the pressure increases obviously as the game goes on.
Nando to Ludford. Ludford looking for a reset. High stall, finding Tavis Layton.
The D from Cardinal there, excellent on Leo Stovall Fernandez.
Good lateral movement from Dragon. We've got Weiss with the disc. He's looking for a reset, and he'll put up a big bender. Becca Ludford floating in the air for 8 seconds. Good patience here at the end. Caleb Denacor will hammer to Becca Ludford, and that was a pretty clean and easy hold for Dragon.
Well, all it takes is one chink in the armor there. The defense from Pat Barron was not as quick and as efficient as it could have been. He was the release point, and his man kept getting open, and that allowed the throw to Ludford, who was also doing some pretty heavy damage out there.
We'll see this wide swinging from both teams. You know, Ludford had a lot of separation, and Caleb Denacor's mark kind of recognized that and tried to sink the space, but Caleb just goes over the top instead. Lefty hammers really hard to stop. So Dragon in a position now where they have to break in the next few minutes here.
Well, they've still got some time. The pressure, though, it does continue to increase. But a break ties the game up, and then it's like a dramatic shift of pressure over to Slow White.
I agree with that. I think it's helpful for momentum, though, especially if you know that you basically have to score 2 in a row in order to take the lead. So it would be a wise decision to try and stack a line and do that sooner rather than later, especially so you can maybe have multiple attempts at it if need be.
Interesting that Cable has been out there pretty much the entire second half.
Maybe he was out there in the first half but didn't have the purple headband and I just didn't realize it.
No, he didn't play.
Interesting. Dragon is in a little bit of a defensive look that we haven't seen yet.
Caught.
Maybe indicating that they're on to plan B here, trying to cause a little bit of adjustment and maybe concern or hesitation from the Slow White offense that has been maybe just taking what they wanted for the game.
Yeah, Coach John Gross told us that if we see a zone for multiple points or too much zone, it means we're onto our plan C. And that means that Slow White has been effective handling the switches and the person defense. As Fitzgerald here will center it back to Trahey, or sorry, dump it back.
Tanner Johnson in the middle with that show and rock matchup. To Cable coming into the handler set.
They've crumbled into person defense now.
Tanner Johnson looking for Cable, but his motion draws too many defenders, and he'll go over the top. 54. There we go. Friedman is available on that far side. A great fake kind of juked that defender so that the hammer had more separation there. So that fake opened up that throw.
Exactly, like Cable there on the forehand side kind of drew a couple of the attention of the Dragon Thrust defense and allowed Tanner Johnson there to bomb it over the top to the far side on the cross.
You know, that's the defensive trap, really. When you know you need to get a break, when, right, your back's against the wall, it's time. There's this like weird tendency that we all have to try to make something happen on somewhere other than maybe our responsibility, our matchup. And I think I saw both Bacon and Trantina during that point kind of peel off their player for an extra few seconds to try to make a lane look scary. But every time you do that, you leave space somewhere else.
Well, yes, but also they had so much success doing that earlier in the game. So Trantina was causing havoc all over the place. So sometimes you forget that, like, oh, well, maybe the team adjusted, and that's what I think we saw here as Slowette has adjusted quite effectively and seems to know how to play with the lead right now. Some teams don't know how to play with the lead, and Slowette looking comfortable with it right now.
Dragon Thrust will play with a 4-man ratio for this offensive point. Interesting that we kind of always see the Denacors together. And, you know, Caleb doing an excellent job being an initiating cutter and Holly being a stalwart in that handler set. Here's Tavis. Layton with some pressure and contact. He'll find Kat Ritzman on the far side. She will fire these if she feels confident. Tavis in power out to Logan Weiss.
Ritzman eats up yards out there. She was open in the deep lane before that and then got the reset by coming all the way back.
Here's Denacor in the upline space. She'll put up a blade. Tavis Layton just kind of doinks that out of his hand. Caleb trying for the second effort, but unable to convert.
Yeah, Tran was there. Ivan Tran alertly lays out to D that tip disc. And now a chance for Slowite to break late in the game.
Cardinal with the disc for Slow.
This is the type of point where if you don't get the movement you want, you call a timeout.
Yep. There's Tan.
He's got his cousin open.
Yep, that's Caitlin Go. Caitlin Go is going to rip it to her sister. It's a bit too far, and footsteps coming. Denacor will pick up for Dragon.
Fearless looking in rhythm, but the footsteps were there.
Another one of these traction issues, but
wow.
A bunch of bidding players, both Denacor and Ludford, able to retain possession in challenging situations. Ludford looking for Nando and a call.
Ludford's got such great hands.
It is really hard to lose your footing and lay out and catch it all at the same time. And I think we saw two of those things happen back to back just now.
We're gonna listen.
Just stays with the receiver.
Okay. All right, looks like a stall call overruled by observer, and the upline pass will stay.
Leo Sobel Fernandez will
call a
timeout.
Or just make a funny signal.
Could have been a violation. Maybe somebody moved before they tapped in play. Everybody on the edge of their seat right now on these points.
In on one here. Positioning downfield.
Observer Alan Baggish from Vancouver.
Sobel Fernandez to Logan Weiss. Weiss puts it in a scooper grip, and it is defended.
There's a call.
Denacor will call a foul, perhaps.
I think before the throw. Maybe we can hear the observer here again.
Okay.
Late in the game, things get a little weird.
I I saw Logan Weiss put that in a scooper grip a second and a half before he threw it.
Sean Doherty was there for the D. If this stands or not, we'll find out. Let's see what this call is here.
No contest.
No contest? Who called the foul?
I called it.
Okay.
We'll get another look.
Does that play stand?
Okay, so this is interesting. Like the players don't know if the play is going to stand or not. The observer's going to tell us. Let's listen in.
D called foul.
D called foul. Contested or uncontested?
Uncontested.
Uncontested.
Play stands?
Okay. Was it to the receiver?
No.
Okay.
This is going to stay as a D.
You're doing awesome. Great work.
Do we know how long before the throw?
How long before the throw?
2 or 3. 2 or 3 stalls before the throw. What's a while? 2 or 3 stalls before.
3 counts before.
So there was an offensive foul called, I think, on Becca Ludford away from the disc.
Positioning good here?
Before the scooper by Weiss.
Positioning good here?
Uncontested.
Y'all good with this?
And since it was uncontested, it will come back to Weiss.
Whoa. Uncontested offensive foul?
Coming in
I
on
think the defense
6.
called it.
Well, Dragon will get another shot at this. Logan puts that disc back in a flick grip, and Caleb Denecor has the disc on the far side. Out to Holly Denecor. Steps from the end zone. Let the Denecors work it.
Yeah, a little give and go.
And that
Ooh, he towed the line. That's
break
in.
throw by Holly Denecor to Logan Weiss, bidding, towing the line. And that is a hold for Dragon Thrust. We are in a very tight game, but we have experienced soft cap during the course of that point, which means we will now add 2 to the slow white score. So we are now playing to 14. Dragon needs to score on this next break opportunity.
Well, it's getting tight now. So that little sort of like disruption, that slow point, things get a little bit janky, and then they score. So this means that slow can be out of rhythm on their offense. You've seen this happen before where it's a long point, there's some calls, everything's pretty like tame. It's nothing like aggressive or sort of out of fashion. But still, it has an effect on your O-line who's been sitting for all this point now. And now we feel the wind coming up. So it's like a weird sort of like pressure that is sort of like subtle because it's like, well, it's mellow. We're hanging around on the sidelines. And, well, I guess Dragon Thrust scored. No biggie, but it can be damaging to the offense here as they face a challenging situation.
Always interesting to see the interplay between a D-line and an O-line. I think maybe Slow White settling into more of a, recurrence on their O-line. Dragons cycling through more different personnel over the course of the game. So to your point, a lot of the Dragon players who have been in and out of that O-line maybe have also gotten some D reps. So they haven't been standing on the sideline kind of waiting as often as Slow has maybe, but not sure if that will impact anything as Tanner Johnson initiates the downfield movement. Looking for Trahey. Trahey's going to go deep. So is Orion Cable. Vinoka will defend that.
Into the wind. It died at the last minute there. The wind pushed that throw down into Vinoka.
Max Roth out to Caleb Denecor. Having a season for Dragon Thrust as well. Number of these Dragon players kind of having such a consistent performance. Speaking of Bacon, here's Thalen. Out to Jacob Lean. Jacob Lean will throw a high release flick over the stack. I've seen him do it 800 times, but he'll hit Thalen on a backhand instead to Strings. And we'll have another stoppage here.
8-on-1.
Uncontested.
When you're ready, D.
Schoenrock looking for Bacon. Out to Thalen in the wide space. We'll have an immediate Vinoka and another An
My
immediate
goodness.
open lean, but he is taken down by the turf monster, and Slow White's O-line will restart play with Alex Trahey.
Yeah, throw was behind him. Vinoka in rhythm, too much rhythm, and he zips it, and he fires it, and it's just behind his intended target. And another chance for the O-line of Slow White. Now they've got some reps and they're running. It's an immediate timeout from Alex Trahey on the goal line. So this is interesting. I'd love to hear what they talk about in this huddle. What would you, okay, so you just basically dialed up a play call, Huck, to Orion Cable, your big man, Tanner Johnson to Cable fail. What are you looking for here?
You know, honestly, you gotta kind of feed whoever's hot right here. So you go into that huddle and you ask, who has the matchup?
Okay, who's got the matchup?
Right?
Yeah.
And so if there's someone out there that's struggling or doesn't feel confident in it, even if, you know, objectively from the outside we might all look at that and be like, yeah, you have that matchup. You gotta find someone who's feeling it. And it's important. This hold is important for Slow White. And so, you know, I hope that's what happened in that huddle. Who's got it right now? Who wants the ball?
Well, we haven't called Mataka's name in a bit. He was doing great work earlier on. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mataka and Ari Nelson. Kind of maybe a little give and go action with Trahey back there. The wind has certainly picked up on this crosswind now coming off the Pacific. That was a factor that knocked that disc down on the Huck. And it will be a factor for this offense moving sort of into it now.
So Slow White's offense has to set first, and then Dragon will fill in the spaces. Trying to be a little cagey here is Erica Bacon, trying to figure out if she can take a lane away and force something unwise. And she will continue a poach in this lane. But Trahey has it. Jacob Lean overcommitting on that. This big up to Orion Cable is defended by Vinoka, but there's a call.
Cable and Vinoka going up. Did he get a piece of the hand? Let's listen in. Can't tell from our angle whether that was clean or not. Oh, is he down?
Oh. Yeah, looks to me like Bivon maybe got hand on that, but it's gonna go back to the thrower. This is always a fun part of the comment thread on Facebook. Y'all, foul or nah?
What's great about our sport is that we don't try to make hard and fast black and white decisions. There is gray in the world. We're okay with that. It's really kind of what makes ultimate. One of the things, you know, is it doesn't have to be one way or the other necessarily.
A lot of contact in a lane that may not matter. A foul called. If it had been a pick, that would have been a D by Schoenrock, but a foul called in this space. Fallon and Nelson having a conversation. Bacon with the best seat in the house for the conversation.
I apologize. I've lost our microphone on that observer there. Bagish had him earlier, so only our mic on Rusty. The second observer is working currently. So this is about where these players are positioned on the field and where and when the foul call was called and who called it. That will decide where this disc lands. Critical element here, elimination. Facing Dragon Thrust or Slow White. Dragon Thrust with the on the D, slow with the disc, as the clock continues to tick.
The longer this takes, the worse it is for Dragon right now. So
6.
Here we go, coming in on 6, back with the thrower Trahey. Each of these Dragon defenders know that they need to make something happen here. Vinoka and Cable are gonna release deep here. Tanner Johnson with the disc. Trahey struggling to get open on the around. He will release. Tess Johnson able to get open on that reset. A little bit of a loss of yards here.
Another pick call. This will stay here.
You know,
catch up with Trahey, and we'll start it up again with Tanner Johnson. Looking for Mataka.
A Scuber to Cable. Tanner Johnson trying to take Schoenrock deep. Tess Johnson doing work against Thalen here.
Lean really on top of Trahey.
Another call, you know, it just eats up time. Every conversation that we have to have right now is eating up that time to hard cap, and benefits only Slow White right now. Nelson trying to find Trahey on that high release backhand.
Nicely done.
Lean always kind of over pursuing and trying to take the huck away on Trahey. Nelson.
Cable wanted that S cut, had it from Tanner
Break
Johnson.
throw to Trahey.
Oh,
that
wow.
IO backhand turfs from Trahey, and Jacob Lean will pick up and immediately look for Brian Schoenrock. This could be interesting here. Who reads it better? I think Schoenrock did read it better and certainly got up, but it is not converted there.
Wow. Tough one there. Schoenrock had that. It looked again like the body of Tanner Johnson was up there as well. Better read by Schoenrock, but it's a turnover and a chance again, second time this point, for Slow White to convert a hold. That's becoming pretty much the point of the day, maybe the point of the game.
Tess Johnson going deep. Oh! To her brother Tanner over Schoenrock, who jumped too early. Tanner Johnson will look for Ryan Cable, and that is a hold. The Dragon D-line very unhappy with that.
My goodness, that is a backbreaker. That is unbelievable. The change from the huck one way down here to Schoenrock, he doesn't get it. A little body there from Tanner Johnson up in the air. No call, totally cool. However those guys work it out. You see the turnover from Trahey here. He short-armed this break throw. Would have been a goal if he'd been able to get his legs underneath him. And then back the other direction, Tess Johnson's throw hangs up. It should be an easy D for Schoenrock. He goes up just a little early. The only chance Tanner Johnson has at it is to jump up kind of behind him and hope that Schoenrock misses it. He does, and the goal, it goes to Slow White on a hold that really seems like the defining moment of this game.
This huck also just, again, a game of inches. Schoenrock trying to make that, you know, catching thumb up motion, but is on the inside of this disc rim, and then another sky. Again, inches are the difference in this game.
As a Vanaka, you see bidding on Cable, but he has no chance. They will huddle up here now. All the pressure on Dragon Thrust.
I don't know who took this time out. I assume that it's Slow White playing clock, because if they can kind of eat away at this time to hard cap here. But they really just have to score one more point. If they can break to win, then they will have eliminated the 1 seed out of the championship bracket.
And you know, it sounds like this radical thing, but that's just the way it is at the national championships. Your seed doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't. And these teams are all pretty evenly matched. You get the 1 seed because you go through the regular season and play pretty well. But, you know, Dragon Thrust had some breaks through the regular season. They won Pro Champs sort of on a tipped disc huck. So against Mixtape. So Mixtape otherwise could have been the 1 seed here. Dragon Thrust maybe a 2 or 3, 4, you never quite know. So the teams are evenly matched, and we're seeing that here. And whoever brings their best, you know, here in San Diego is going to come away with it. 2 losses yesterday for the Slow White team. Slow White was on the brink of elimination in pool play and had to win against the regional rival wildcard to even get to this pre-quarter game. And here they are now with a 2-point late lead on the #1 team.
Dragon putting out a Universe O-line. Leo Sovell Fernandez, Erica Bacon, Kat Ritzman, Sarah Maxroth, Brian Schoenrock, Caleb Denekor, and Becca Ludford. I think maybe similar to the Universe Point line that went out and won US Open.
They're going to need a couple of these in a row.
Bacon to Ludford.
Looking for Ritzman underneath.
That's Schoenrock to Maxroth. Maxroth thought about it to Ritzman.
That's Bacon.
Bacon to Sovell Fernandez. Around. Bacon to Schoenrock. Schoenrock will have Maxroth, Bacon, Kat Ritzman.
Loose defense from Slow White.
Out to Nando. Bacon will go up line, and she will score. That's in. That was the easy part, Tony. This is the hard part now.
Yeah, well, this is all up to the offense of Slow White. You're right, Aaron. That was the easy part. You could see a step behind almost on the D from Slow, just seeing if there was weaknesses or seeing if there was something that they didn't feel comfortable with. Dragon on the line there, and then they might have jumped on it. But Dragon did their job. Now they're going to have to get a break or their season is over. And this is what this is what you love to be on the O-line, right? You know, just go out there and score. We've done it. We'll do it again. It's just an O-line hold. That's all it is. That's what you're telling your team as you bring out your regulars: Caitlin Fitzgerald, Mataka, Tanner Johnson, Tess Johnson, Orion Cable, Alex Trahey, and Ari Nelson.
Kind of the same 7 we've seen all game.
They didn't look so great the last point, that's for sure. The last time on offense, this line had 2 turnovers, I believe, and they kind of got bailed out by that Tanner Johnson Sky.
The only personnel change for Dragon is that Austin Lean is coming in on this D point. I think, no, Thalen came in for Ludford, and then Austin Lean joins them. But otherwise, the same line as the last O point for Dragon.
So Leo Sovell Fernandez will pull the center handler for this team, the youngster, getting a lot of playing time in critical situation here.
You know, I talked to John Gross briefly about Leo before the game, kind of having this interesting experience of both being a world's representative and also being a mentor to new players on his D3 college team. It means that he's gotten a lot of practice lately with kind of new throws that aren't to their target, but also the high-level mental toughness as well. And he is going to go deep with Trahey. Tanner Johnson with a scoober that turfs to Orion Cable, and Bacon will pick up.
Timing was off there. Movement has not been good for this O-line. Bacon with a chance.
She's being marked tightly by an Ari Nelson flat mark, and that means Bacon can go around it with a backhand to Caleb Denekor. Looking for Sovell Fernandez.
Nice pivoting. Gets Trahey off of him.
Bacon to Schoenrock, to Denekor. That lateral movement that Coachy talked about before the game out to Sovell Fernandez. And Maxroth has the disc 5 feet out of the end zone with a chance to break for Dragon, which is exactly what they need. She puts up a big flick blade, and Caleb Denekor comes down with it, and that's a break for Dragon. And this is a instant classic, maybe.
Double game point is what this is. This is a win or go home. Or miraculously win and stay in San Diego.
Oof.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. So, okay, well, let's take a deep breath here. What do you do on offense? Your O-line is really, you just got to say that the slow O-line has not been performing as they need to. That is their third turn out of the last 2 points, at least third turn, maybe even 4. They did get a hold in there after a couple of turns, and Marshall Golf has really got to think about who he wants on this line. They'll take a timeout to mull it over.
Goodness gracious.
And I wonder, so this timeout also gives the Dragon Thrust U line that we just saw play 2 points in a row a chance to rest and go out there again. And why not get it done? Bacon, Mexstroth, Schoenrock, Leo Sobel Fernandez, Lean. This is the team that's been getting it done.
I think, you know, you live by the scuba and you die by the scuba a little bit. I speak as a person who does not have a game-ready scuba. I never learned one. I apologize. But some of those scuba looks over the course of the game, you know, both Leo Sobel Fernandez and Logan Weiss had a scuba turnover for Dragon, and then we see that Tanner Johnson scuba turnover for Boston. Just maybe ill-advised in those situations, but hopefully, you know, these teams got to stick to their basics here. Dragon going 4 women for this DGP situation.
Love it.
I think it'll be a story of matchups here, and we'll have to see what slow white offense we see. Again,
they're bringing Pepe on to join. No, Amy Stoddard will join the core. So they're keeping Mataka. Cable is off the line.
You know, this is the last of these pre-quarters that is still ongoing, and we have results from across the division, which we're displaying on the screen right now. The winner of this game will go on to play mixtape and still have an opportunity to continue into the finals if need be. But Cocktails taking Super Lame will match up against Mischief. Snake Country over Polar Bears will earn them a rematch against Shame, I believe. And Amp beating Space Heater in a big way. Amp and BFG will play on that quarters and that side of the bracket. So a lot of consequences and ramifications here for this double game point.
Eric Shaw on the line as well to join this universe point. Shaw with the disc. And it's zony look from Dragon Thrust.
Tanner Johnson looking downfield and seeing Sarah Maxroth playing deep in that backspace. But Caitlin Fitzgerald able to get yards. She'll put up a backhand huck. We're looking at Tess Johnson and Sarah Maxroth, and you don't want to go there, I don't think.
Yeah, wow, and she put way too much on it. No chance for Tess Johnson. And now Bacon will go and pick it up.
Bacon looks like she's entering into a vertical stack with no other handlers.
It looks like someone will drop back now.
I mean, Bevon is not a handler, but that's okay because Becca Ludford, always open in that underspace, has Sarah Maxroth, who has Brian Schoenrock
there it is.
saving that high arcing blade. Vinoka free and easy on the reset.
Slow White all over the place. Their defense is all mismatched, and now they finally got on their people.
Denicor's pass to Maxroth a little wonky, and Tess Johnson takes a look at it. But Becca Ludford, and again, Dragon real close to this end zone with a shot. Ludford puts it out, and Strings is unable to pull it down, but players are down over there, and the observer is going to call an injury sub. We can't get a good look at it. The landing did not look clean.
Okay. Just landed really bad on my shoulder and played the contact. I want to make sure we're good. I'm staying. Okay.
Schoenrock is going to stay in the game.
No call. I don't think I
no
could
call.
have made inbounds.
Ground check.
Yep, 3, 2, 1.
20.
No call there.
A little tight corner for that throw. Trust throw to Schoenrock, who skied earlier, unable to come down with this one. Another chance for Slow.
You know, thematically, we've been talking about these failed break chances, and Dragon, unfortunately, with a break chance on DGP, unable to convert. But hammer defense by Vinoka causes a miscue, and Bacon, the general of this offense, will take over and see if she can convert this win for Dragon. Maxroth in the backfield. Out to Bacon. Good switching here by Slow White. Schoenrock. A loss of yards here for Dragon. Bacon turfs a throw to Ludford, and we are amassing spectators on the sideline like nobody's business because all these other rounds and pre-quarters have been over. A timeout is called by Slow White.
The Seattle native. Okay, well, another deep breath. Slow White has been given so many opportunities to score on offense, on a clean hold, and the defense from Dragon Thrust has been there. But I got to put the pressure on, I got to put the fault, if you want to say it that way, on Slow White. They have not been able to perform. But in life, as in you get second chances, third chances, fourth chances, whatever it might be. And if they can just hold here, it will be their game and they will move on.
Gosh, what an exciting DGP this has already been. You know, a lot of Mexroth on both sides of the field, but not all of these throws are 100% looks or 100% execution, which has been kind of the story of this game, just a game of inches. And unfortunately in the wrong way, right? Tips of fingers and sidelines have been a lot of what we've been focused on this game, which may be notable because both teams really wanted to work on that lateral motion. But the more you move it laterally, the closer you get to those extra variables that the sideline and that extra mental capacity of towing the line comes into play. But we'll probably see here Dragon come out and set a last back. This time it looks like Claire Thalen will sit over the top of this Slow White vert stack.
Yeah.
Bacon will tap it in with
Ari
Ari
dancing
Nelson.
again.
Gotta stay loose, gotta stay loose.
I love it. Looking for Tanner
Nelson
off the bat.
looking for a reset. Caleb Denacor easily picks off that upline, immediately fires to Brian Vinoka, and he puts it out for Claire Thalen, and they come back and win this game on DGP and will advance. Holy moly, Tony.
Ah, what a game.
Holy.
Caleb Denacor ran that down like he was the man on offense. Intercepted that pass, moved it quickly, slow. They are down. Heads down, a celebration here from Dragon Thrust. They have survived in the most dramatic fashion.
Goodness gracious. Erica Bacon obviously really disappointed in herself for that turf. Very, you know, this is a team that I think has worked really hard on making sure that they know how capable and deep they are. And, you know, having a player on the line like Claire Thalen or Sarah Mexroth or Caleb Denacor who has your back even when you're not playing your best is, you know, a wealth of support and chemistry there. What a game. That was... I'm gonna.
You're gonna get your feed blown up pretty soon from your Dragon Thrust group.
It's already going. I'm gonna need to sit down for a while, I think. Just so, Tony.
Yeah.
that was maybe not the best ultimate we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But a lot of grit and a lot of effort.
Hey.
You know.
You gotta put everything. It's you know, ultimate isn't the cleanest. No sport is the cleanest at all times. It's who's got the disc last, standing last person alive.
Well, so as we get a glimpse at some of the key moments in the story of that game, this #1 seed will survive to rematch against Seattle Mixtape.
Wow, that's going to be a good one.
And that's going to be a good one, too. We really want to thank you on behalf of Fulcrum Media for joining us and for USA Ultimate for joining us for this pre-quarter here in the mixed division. This took so long because it was so exciting that we're going to be back in 15 minutes with more coverage. I'm Erin Maraca with Tony Leonardo and Emmy Fitzgerald out there in the field, and we'll be right back.